Good morning. Welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy. I hope you're doing well today. I haven't done any content lately. I've been super busy and I've been doing a lot of learning, but this time of year is pretty busy. So there are a lot of things that I want to share today. So I'm trying to figure out how to break all this stuff down. So one of the things that I want to go back and talk a little bit more about as a prelude into the videos that I'm going to be doing over the next couple days is about the basic laws of the universe. And we talked about how these scalar grids that the universe are made up of are basically a pattern of flashing on and off, and it kind of makes like a marquee sign. You can have these lights flashing on and off at a certain rate in a certain order, and it will have movement to it, right? So this is how you get, this is what we call the duality, right? So one is opposing the other. They're like an attraction, a push and pull type thing. Like the word becomes a manifestation. It's really kind of like the same rule. So this goes back to the very beginning, right? And then we have the duality of masculine and feminine, like the King Solomon's temple, because Solomon means sun and moon, so male and female in one. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about Solomon, the person, King Solomon, and how he's going to play into the next video. But I want to talk a little bit more about this duality, because there's images of it everywhere. You have the duality of the yin and the yang, the checkerboard floor on the Masonic Lodge. You have all of these different references, good and evil, white hats, black hats. You'll have the cowboys and old movies. They symbolically, you recognize duality with dark and light, because they'll put the sheriff cowboy in a white hat and the bad guy killer cowboy in a black cap. I mean, it's just it's duality. So I want to take that and lead into this whole subject about the duality with Earth, and how this leads into these cycles, and how we're in an ascension cycle, and how all of this goes back to the whole story of Jesus and everything, and how things were modified in Atlantis and the whole 9 yards. So you have duality with the planet itself. We have an anti-particle Earth, and we have a particle Earth. Right now we are on particle Earth, but there is an anti-particle version of Earth that is harmonic. Like I drew this diagram because it's like the infinity symbol. Okay, you have to think about the infinity symbol. It goes like this, right? Almost like a marquee sign of movement, but it's duality, because they're holding, everything is held on a grid. Remember, we talked about how the Earth is held with a crystal grid, and it's all about this duality, that it has things it's in a movement, in a projection. So we've got Earth, a particle Earth that we're right now on, and we have anti-particle Earth. So if everything is about frequency and vibration, and you think about that, we could either be changing the structure of our particle, or our particles on the planet, and in actuality, we could, in this ascension cycle, flip our particle Earth back to anti-particle Earth, which is pretty interesting, because since the Earth is a cycle, this automatically happens on antiparticle and particle Earth. Now, I wrote some notes down because this stuff is really interesting, but there's a lot of dates involved and numbers involved. And you know, somebody that's really onto the whole thing of, you know, kind of bringing into the mainstream about these dates is Randall Carlson. He talks about how, you know, with work with him and Graham Hancock and all of these, they're discovering that we are going through cycles on the planet, and every 26,566 years is a flip of particle to antiparticle. Okay, but it goes in 6 smaller states of 4,426 years. Okay, now get this. Anything built or living is antiparticle, so it gets left behind. Okay? So you have to go back and start thinking about this. Okay, because it would have been 13,474 BC, there was a flip, right? So then 4,622 BC was a flip. So whatever happened prior to that is on antiparticle Earth. So this would potentially be all the proof of Atlantis. Because remember how we talked about that it caused like an earthquake volcano that ripped a tear in the dimension, and that a lot of lower dimensional entities were able to come into our dimensional space at that time, because this was a cataclysm, and it threw the earth off of its axis. So we had a flip. And so when these happen is when you have these huge cataclysms. And so I've been reading and I've been listening to some of Ashiana Dean's lectures, because this Keylontic science is all of her teachings. And you know, we talked about the body being a Cathara grid. And so, you know, she talks a lot about stargates and things like that. And, you know, we had this group in history called the Cathars. And the Cathars is basically Cathara, which is about the Keylontic structure of the universe, the science, and all these. And see, these Cathars, they were exterminated. They were mass murdered. And over 300 or around 300 of them were burnt right there at the Stargate, number 12 in Montségur, France. And it's not a coincidence that all of these major things happen at these Stargates, okay? And a lot of these kids that are used for these breeding programs, which is another thing we're going to talk about, because it's all about genetics and it's all about number of activated strands. And I'm going to go into more of that into the next video. So basically what I wanted to say was, in Ashiana's writing, she talks about how that we were going to go into another pole shift because it was time. And see, we started in an ascension cycle in the year 2000. And so we've been in an ascension cycle since 2000. We started 2000 to 2017. Earth cycles aligned. Okay, our cycles aligned with our antiparticle and our particle universes. And see, this is where I believe that the Mandela effects happened. That we started remembering things that happened differently, how Bearstein Bears and the cornucopia and the Fruit of the Loom, and Nelson Mandela being dying in prison, and how a lot of us that lived through this time and we were a certain age, you know, that we remembered things differently. right? Especially people in my age that are like in their 50s and their late 40s. There's a lot of these Mandela effects that you live through these time periods, so you know for a fact that they were the way that they were, right? And the list goes on, because now I think that we're starting to sink in some timelines. And so I think that this is what's happening, is that when we had an alignment of the particle and the antiparticle Earths, is where we started having Mandela effects. So it just goes to show you that, you know, opposite decisions are things that could have been different choices, that maybe the Berenstein Bears was trying to be the Berenstein or Berenstain, or they were thinking about it, and it was a decision that they decided not to make, but the antiparticle version did. So this is your parallel universe. So yeah, I do know, I have people that have come and visited me that have told me that they're living in an alternate universe. So this would be the antiparticle version of Earth. So, I mean, you have an antiparticle version of you in that universe. Granted that you're still alive here, right? So, wonder how that works. So, I mean, that's just something, you know, that I've been studying on. I just find it fascinating, because she said that there was an intervention that happened because we were going to have a pole shift. Sorry. My allergies have gotten a lot better since I started adding a little bit of animal protein back to my diet. But I'm doing it in a very small amounts, because I don't want to start having reactions to, like, you know, too much toxic stuff. But, I mean, it's really helped with my allergies. So, I mean, if you're O blood type, you just can't completely cut meat out of your diet as much as you want to. You really have to have it. You honestly do. You have to have it for your vitality. There's just no way around it. You know, you're just going to have to introduce the light into your food, and, you know, and be very grateful and give thanks, and, you know, basically kosherize, you know, how the Hebrew people put kosher blessings on the food, is to put the biophotons back in that, and you know, work with the law of one principles. So, you know, so duality is a very interesting thing. So we do have an antiparticle version of Earth, and so whatever, you know, so because of Atlantis is in the antiparticle Earth right now. And so when we start finding, we could have started finding stuff between 2000 and 2017, because we were aligned. And so I want to go back and start looking at the discoveries that were made from 2000 to 2017 archaeological things, because that would have been when everything would have been lined up. So that'd be a very interesting thing to study, to check out, you know, just for, you know, something to do if you were interested in digging into this perspective even more. But anyway, with that, I'm going to end this video. It's been 13 minutes. I hope everyone's doing wonderful. And I hope that this cold weather isn't too bad on you, because I'll tell you what, I'm freezing today. I had to take my house coat off to do the video. But I mean, I'm telling you, it is cold. We had a little bit of frost here on my furniture, had a little layer of ice on. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see too much frost here, because I don't want my plants my orchard to die. So anyway, with that, I hope that you get in a nice sunny window and get some beautiful sunshine in on your body, and get these wonderful healing rays that come from the sun. And when you come and find me, I'll be here. We're living in the past, present, and the future, all at the same time. So make sure you give thanks to the Universal Father and the Divine Mother, Mother Earth. So Thanks for watching Sacred Enzyme, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.